Oh, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. There's new news that she might have committed campaign finance fraud. Now, look, this would be this is something that we have to keep a very close eye on because there's a number of factors that kind of tie into this. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit subscribe. Look down there. I have somewhere around 300 subscribers. Would you please fix that? Go down there, hit that button, please. Hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, and hit share, would you? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez may have or may not have inadvertently or purposely committed campaign finance fraud. Now, on its face, not a big deal, right? Who cares? I personally, I care when laws are broken, but there's some laws where it's just like, I guess that, you got to punish people because it's against the law. Dinesh D'Souza went to prison for the exact same thing. Campaign finance fraud. He was found out, and Barack Obama decided to put him in prison. Now you have to keep this in mind. This is where the left cannibalizes themselves. Democrats notoriously do not think 2 or 3 moves ahead. Barack Obama puts Dinesh D'Souza in prison. What that does is it sets what is called precedent. Precedent. The president set the precedent. Say that 3 times fast. The precedent is now when people commit campaign finance violations, they go to prison. They get a felony on their record. It wasn't like that before Dinesh D'Souza. If you committed, a violation in campaign finance, you got a little slap on the wrist. You got a warning letter from, the campaign finance committee, whatever. You know what I mean? Like you would get reprimanded, but not a felony. So, what does Barack Obama decide to do? Well, since I'm going to be the emperor of the world forever, I think I'll send Dinesh D'Souza to prison. It's like, okay, dum-dum, you have at most 2 terms at 4 years apiece. You're going to leave eventually. And when you do, it's probably going to be a Republican that's going to be sitting in that seat next. And now we have precedent. So if Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gets found out for campaign finance fraud, she could go to prison. And it would be the doing of the Democrats, just like when the Democrats, what was it, in 2013 when they changed the filibuster rule, and there were Democrats coming out saying, "Don't do this, Democrats, don't do this," because when we're out of power, and we try to use this same rule, it's not going to be there for us because we changed it. And they're like, "Oh no, we're always going to be in power." No, you're not, dummy. No, you're not. Barack Obama threw Dinesh D'Souza in prison for what is alleged that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did. This is already a lady who has made it clear, rules for thee and not for me. We need to tax all these rich people while she takes $10 million from Netflix and then goes and moves into a ritzy apartment where there's no poor people allowed. Right? Rules for thee, not for me. Just like Bernie Sanders. I have 3 homes, but rich people, old rich white men are the problem. You're an old rich white man, Bernie. Rules for thee and not for me. Well, guess what? This is where it all comes down. You went out, you people have spent all this time trying to attack conservative groups by using the IRS against the Tea Party. You threw Dinesh D'Souza and others. Right? He wasn't the only one. Dinesh D'Souza got put in prison by Barack Obama because Dinesh D'Souza did a media hit piece on the Obamas. And the only thing that the Obamas could do was they had to dig through the trash of his life and figure out like, oh, he committed a $20,000 campaign finance violation? And they threw him in prison for it. Well, now there's precedent, dummy. And Alexandria, if you get caught and prosecuted and you are found guilty, you're going to prison. Because now there's precedent for that. You people, you idiots. Don't you understand how this works? And it will spill off into other areas too. You've got Ilhan Omar. That the rumor is, right? The things that are being shared on the media I'm sorry, on social media is that she may or may not have married her own brother to obtain U.S. citizenship. Now, if it turns out that she did that, and she's over there running her mouth about how evil Christian people are and how much she loves the Palestinian terrorists, you know what I mean? If this gets investigated and it turns out that she did that, she's not going to, she's not, well, she'll go to jail for a little while, and then when she's done with her jail, she'll be deported. These people can't help themselves. It's like, listen, you have, you belong to a religious group that has no problem marrying their own brothers and sisters. And it kind of looks like you married your own brother to get U.S. citizenship, which is a violation. It means if you were granted U.S. citizenship and then it turns out later that you lied to get that citizenship, you will have that citizenship revoked. And then you will be deported back to your nation that has a national IQ of 68, which is lower than literally the world's smartest monkey. Or chimpanzee, whichever Coco the chimp was. Chimp, I guess it's right there in the word. That's where you're going to go, Ilhan. And again, precedent. You wanted to push the issue. Now the issue's going to get pushed. And we'll all be watching from the cheap seats. Ha ha!